use of nuclear energy and nuclear installations must be safe, secured, safeguarded, and environmentally sound. Secondly, food security must not be weaponized in any way. Attacks on merchant ships in ports and along the entire route, as well as against civilian ports and civilian port infrastructures, are unacceptable. Thirdly, all prisoners of war must be released by complete exchange. All deported and unlawfully displaced Ukrainian children and all other Ukrainian civilians who were unlawfully detained must be returned to Ukraine. One key question remains: how and when can Russia be included in the process? We have heard it in many of your statements. A lasting solution must involve both parties. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, the discussions over the past 2 days have shown that there are different points of view. All the more important is our understanding that the path towards peace in Ukraine must be pursued on the basis of international law and, in particular, the United Nations Charter.
We continue to believe that such a peace requires bringing together all stakeholders and a sincere and practical engagement between the two parties to the conflict. Accordingly, we will continue to engage with all stakeholders as well as the two parties to the conflict to contribute to all earnest efforts to achieve lasting peace in Ukraine. Our participation in this summit and continued engagement with all stakeholders is with a view to understanding different perspectives, approaches, and options to find a way forward for a sustainable resolution of the conflict.
And we will continue to lend our support to all efforts to facilitate dialogue between both parties. We believe it is important that the international community encourage any step towards serious negotiations, which will require difficult compromise as part of a roadmap that leads to peace. And here it is essential to emphasize that any credible process will need Russia's participation.
Despite those different points of view, we have managed to agree on a common vision here on the Bürgenstock. We have set out that vision in the Bürgenstock COMMUNIQUE. Herewith we are sending a clear signal to the people of Ukraine and to all those directly affected by the consequences of the war. A large part of the international community has the desire to bring change.
Illegal war by Russia needs to end. Humanitarian law and the UN Charter must be respected. We have to keep sending strong signals that our solidarity with Ukraine is as strong as ever and will not fade. Russian aggression has to stop. It won't be easy, but as a dad, I hope that we can all get to a just and sustainable peace in the next year so that Ukrainian kids and families can celebrate Father's Day together, but also that people and families everywhere around the world are able to know that international law and the rules-based order will be defended and upheld by all countries in the world. This is how we protect each other. This is how we protect future generations. This is how we keep the world on the right track. Slava Ukraini, Heroyam Slava, glory to Ukraine, glory to its heroes.
It was not a peace negotiation because Putin is not serious about ending the war. He's insisting on capitulation. He's insisting on ceding Ukrainian territory, even territory that today is not occupied by him. He's insisting on disarming Ukraine, leaving it vulnerable to future aggression. No country would ever accept these outrageous terms.
What is most interesting in watching these last 2 days is the split screen of this weekend with what we heard from President Putin as he laid out his vision for peace a couple of days ago, where he said, not only does Ukraine have to give up the territory Russia currently occupies, but Ukraine has to leave additional sovereign Ukrainian territory before Russia will negotiate. And Ukraine must disarm so that it is vulnerable to future Russian aggression down the road. No responsible nation can say that is a reasonable basis for peace. It defies the UN Charter, it defies basic morality, it defies basic common sense.
Каждый раз, когда Путин озвучивает мирные инициативы и когда предпринимаются попытки по выходу на политико-дипломатическое русло, существуют определенные условия на земле. Каждый раз они для Украины ухудшаются. Нынешняя динамика положения дел на фронтах отчетливо нам демонстрирует, что и дальше для украинцев она будет только ухудшаться. Путин ничего не отвергает. Он не отвергает возможность переговоров. Он говорит, что там есть легитимные органы в соответствии с Конституцией страны, поэтому кого органы уполномочат вести переговоры и так далее. Переговоры, как правило, ведут экспертные люди, но фиксируют результаты переговоров легитимные.
I'm confident that together we will ensure the result. The first and the second peace summits should unite our joint work on the details of peace. We are at a war and we don't have time for prolonged work. Moving to peace means acting fast. Preparations will take months, not years. So, when the action plans for peace are ready And when every step is worked out, the path will be opened for the second peace summit, and thus for ending this war, for a just and lasting peace.